10 heroic lifeguard moments caught on camera. We often throw the word hero around without giving it much thought. We're obsessed with celebrities and athletes who've managed to lasso stardom long enough to walk red carpets and entice flash photographers. But we sometimes overlook those who actually exemplify heroic qualities, such as those who make split-second judgments or devise meticulous plans to save those in peril while putting their own lives in jeopardy. You'll meet heroic people who risk their lives to save others in these 10 incredible rescue stories. These heroic lifesavers have rescued loners in distress, as well as ordinary folks and children. Starting with number 10, Miracle on the Hudson. On January 15, 2009, US Airways Flight 1549 set out on a normal voyage that turned out to be anything but ordinary. The Airbus A320, which carried 155 passengers, lost power to both engines shortly after taking off from New York's LaGuardia airport after being hit by birds. What happened next is a story for the ages. Rather than panicking in the face of impending disaster, pilot Chesley B. Sullenberger III chose to land the jet in the Hudson River to avoid crashing into a densely populated area. Surprisingly, no one lost their lives in the incident. Following the landing in the Hudson, adjacent ferry boats, police boats, fireboats, and tugboats picked people up who were standing up to their waists in water that was 35 degrees Fahrenheit, with air temperatures of 18 degrees Fahrenheit. What could have been a calamity in a city that still felt the effects of terrorist atrocities turned out to be one of the most incredible air rescue stories ever, as well as the most touching story of lifeguards coming together. Sullenberger was hailed a hero for his fast thinking and talent. He also got a movie deal out of it, with Tom Hanks playing him. Number 9, rescuers managed to sidestep a Titanic-style disaster. It may have been another Titanic when the SS Andrea Doria crashed with a Swedish ocean liner in 1956. During a foggy afternoon off the coast of Nantucket Island, the Italian liner collided with the MS Stockholm. Owing to an operator error, and the nearly head-on collision couldn't have been avoided by scared crew members. Passengers on board the Andrea Doria felt a big shock and heard metal banging. The ship's orchestra was playing Arrivederci Roma in one of the lounges when they were thrown from the stage by the force of the accident. Passengers noticed that the Andrea Doria's lifeboats had nearly been damaged due to the collision's location as the ship began to sink. Other ships in the area rushed to assist in the rescue of the passengers and crew, as crew members fought to find out how to load the remaining lifeboats. Although the Titanic disaster was marked by slow response and a lack of assistance from other ships, this sinking was ultimately a triumph of teamwork and organizational excellence. Before the Andrea Doria capsized and sank, at least 5 other ships worked together to save 1,663 crew and passengers. The collision claimed the lives of 51 individuals, yet the rescue is widely regarded as one of the best ever. This amazing rescue just proves just how important having a responsible lifeguard on duty can be. This young woman is an incredible hero. Number 8, Wave Pool Rescue. Though it may appear to be a simple profession, being a lifeguard is undoubtedly one of the most demanding careers. While much of the job may appear to be enjoyable, lifeguards are in charge of people's lives and are liable for everything that occurs in their pool. Although some lifeguards can go years without having to execute a rescue, they must always be attentive and ready just in case they're called upon. I knew lifeguards were heroes when I saw these beautiful photographs and this horrific footage of a young boy drowning in a crowded pool. This camera captured footage of a pool that was overrun with kids in inner tubes. I had a hard time even noticing when one of the small boys fell out of his tube and began to struggle. However, this brave lifeguard acted quickly. It was practically hard to identify who was struggling in the water when this lifeguard blew her whistle and jumped into the packed pool, the location of which is unclear but assumed to be in the United States. The child could barely keep his head above water for a few seconds, and the other swimmers didn't seem to notice his struggle. The lifeguard appeared to be the only one who noticed the struggling child. The lifeguard had the youngster in her arms in less than 10 seconds. Much to the surprise of the other swimmers. Her incredible reflexes and acute eye saved the day. She made her way out of the water while carrying the young kid to ensure his safety. As they approached the pool's edge, it became evident that the small child had miraculously recovered and was able to get out on his own. While most people would have overlooked the tiny youngster fighting to remain afloat, this brave savior demonstrated the necessity of devoted, well-trained lifeguards in keeping the public safe. Clearly, the small youngster is well aware of his good fortune. Number 7. The Humble Lifeguard. A spectacular series of images have been shot of brave lifeguards swimming out to save a drowning woman. The photographs document the terrified struggle of the flailing swimmer from beginning to end, as she pleads for aid before being rescued from the churning water and brought ashore. Troy Stewart, a rescuer, can be seen rushing through the water and clawing his way to the helpless woman. When her nightmare began, the woman was swimming in the ocean off Bronte Beach near Sydney, Australia. Andrew Reed, a fellow lifesaver, witnessed the ferocious whirling waves and joked with a colleague that he wouldn't want to be out swimming in those deadly waves. Reed then spotted the woman waving her arms and pleading for help. He and his colleague dashed to the water, each racing to the woman, with Stewart being the first to reach her. Stewart's seen rescuing the fatigued woman from the waves and setting her on his surfboard before heading back to land in the dramatic footage. As if their bravery wasn't enough, another swimmer who'd heroically attempted to help the suffering woman needed to be rescued as well. Lifeguard Anthony Carroll and his colleagues rescued the man from the sea before running to the flailing woman to see if they could help with aid. Wally Eagleton, another guard, also assisted in getting the woman back to shore. Reed then went on to say the extremely lucky lady owed her life to her daring rescuers, all of whom are decorated surfers. Once she regained her breath on the beach, the woman was claimed to be exceedingly appreciative. I mean, I would be too if you just pulled me out of the jaws of my demise. When questioned, the lifeguard simply said he was just a minor gear in that wheel. Okay, Mr. Modest Brag. Number 6. Lifeguards rescue 2 fishermen off MOBOR in Goa, India. 2 fishermen were rescued from drowning off MOBOR Beach in Goa, India, thanks to the quick actions of Drishti lifeguards. Both fishermen were claimed to be in their 50s. According to reports, they were out on the lake around 10:45 a.m. when their boat hit a late wave, flipping over a turtle and tossing both men into the turbulent waters. Lifeguard Bapu Tari was on duty at the moment and hurried to save the men, but not before alerting other lifeguards at the lifeguard tower. Following his lead, lifeguard Sarvesh Gawankar jumped on a jet ski and raced to the scene, rescuing both victims and safely returning them to shore. Lavu Gawankar, another lifeguard, assisted in bringing the fishermen's stranded boat back to land. After some standard health checks revealing that both fishermen were in good health, they were released. Meanwhile, in our next story, Jacksonville beach lifeguards had to defend their reputation once more on Memorial Day. Number 5. Jacksonville beach lifeguards earn their reputation on Memorial Day. When the weather gets too hot, the beach grows crowded, and lifeguards must keep an eye out while others enjoy themselves. This technique may be same old for Jacksonville beach lifeguards, but it doesn't detract from their efforts on Memorial Day. According to reports, at least 12 youngsters went missing over that holiday weekend and had to be recovered and reunited with their parents, not to mention emergency medical services and minor water shortages. Even though there were no near-drowning events, there were at least 42 lifeguards and 7 officers on duty. Thanks to the lifeguards' alertness, beachgoers should be aware that attempting to rescue another beachgoer could result in them becoming victims themselves in the ocean. They recommend beachgoers phone 911 at all times, stay on the beach, and notify certified officials. But we know how that goes. Away from Jacksonville, our next story is one of the Saved by the Bell ones, or rather, Saved by the Bell. Number 4. Saved by the Bell. After assisting in the rescue of 5 swimmers who were stranded more than 75 yards from shore, a Galveston lifeguard was acclaimed a hero. Even after 11 years with the Galveston Island Beach Patrol, Mary Stewart had never had to make such a decision. It started off like any other day when Stewart and their coworker, Dane Buck, were summoned to the beach on the north side of Pleasure Pier at 2:30 p.m. 5 swimmers went too far out on a Saturday afternoon. She and the other lifeguard, who were already in the water, assisted 3 of them in getting to Buck's rescue board. When Stewart attempted to pull the surviving father and child to shore, things quickly became dire. When straining to keep the two victims and herself above water, she signaled for assistance to the other lifeguard. That lifeguard eventually arrived, and he and Stewart were each able to bring one victim back to shore. Everyone was well, and no one needed to be transported. And because of Stewart's work, they'll be able to share the story of one woman's heroic efforts. Maybe after the incident, they figured it would be better safe than sorry, but the Galveston Lifeguard recently added 80 lifeguards to its troop. Definitely can't blame them. If you think that being a lifeguard stops when you leave the water, then you're wrong. In this case, it extends even to dry land. They say if you love your job, then you never have to work a day in your life after all. Number 3, lifeguard heroically helping during the Orlando tragedy. During the Orlando tragedy, a lifeguard was said to have acted valiantly in aiding victims. The best of the community was on show early Sunday morning during the largest mass shooting in American history, when first responders and bystanders from all walks of life assisted their fellow citizens. At least one potential lifeguard was spotted, along with others, assisting in the transport of a casualty through the streets of Orlando in order to receive medical assistance. Lifeguards are used to helping others, so this tendency comes as no surprise to them. It's always comforting to know that a lifeguard was among the noble citizens of Orlando who came up to help others in the aftermath of such awful mayhem. And with that, it's now time for today's best pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and you want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in our future video. Number 2, double wipeout. This is the terrifying moment a rescue jet ski towing a stranded surfer is wiped out while attempting to outrun a big wave. In February, a double wipeout occurred in Nazaré, Portugal, leaving 2 people stranded when the jet ski overturned. Salvador Vilaboa, a veteran surfer from Nazaré, Portugal, was surfing one of the day's strongest waves when a bump threw him into the ocean near some rocks. As the second wave approached the trapped surfer, skilled jet ski rescuer Ramon Laureano dragged Vilaboas out of the danger zone. This rescue in particular was truly one of the most heroic acts I've ever watched. Ramon, who has more than 20 years of big wave experience, completed one of the most challenging rescues at Nazaré. The surfer was able to clamber onto the towing board attached by the savior, but he was unable to outrun the breaking wave. It's not every day that someone's picked up directly on the first peak's impact zone between waves. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. And number 1, lifeguard saves young girl in neighborhood swimming pool. We've heard that not all heroes wear capes, but we present that not all heroes work on the big screen. Sounds good, right? Well, if you're not convinced, maybe this rescue will have you thinking differently. After saving a small girl from drowning, a lifeguard in Spring, Texas has been acclaimed a hero. After a young child began to struggle as she entered the pool from a pool slide, the on-duty lifeguard, Charlie Miller, rushed into the pool. The rescue clip, which shows Miller sprinting to the water to save the girl, was posted by Harris County. Charlie acted quickly to remove the little girl to safety after she became active. Any lifeguards in the room to aid break this down. After entering the water from the slide, Miller had already been named Lifeguard of the Week according to the department, and his actions further added to this distinction. Looks like those lifeguard pre-tests came in handy.